Oh, there's the pink thing. You added the pink thing. Oh, and now I'm purple. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, should we see where our game is doing this week?
Yeah, let's play.
All right. Hey, welcome everyone to this episode of Hacking the Grepson. We are still in the middle of our Let's Make a Game project.
One might even say at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we are, on the journey of, hey, let's make a game discussion to game done. We're somewhere in the middle. We'll let you judge where in the middle we are. But okay, so let's just check in. So what have you been doing?
I prototyped a little tiny slingshot Metroid based on some of the things we talked about. That's very little. I think I sent you the repo so you can check it out.
You did, yes.
But basically, I had AI generate the whole thing. Mostly out of curiosity for me. I wanted to see if it could produce the results I liked. So I'm breaking it down into much smaller problems. Rather than just like, I want to make a game. So make a new love project, make it so there's a ground. Now put a ball on it.
Not a bird? Okay.
I click on the ball and it moves,
Yeah.
and one step at a time. Little blue ball that pops up, you click on it, and like drag, and it moves. Go to the right, you eventually hit a little brown wall. But if you go to the left, you find a little pink square that's bobbing up and down, which I didn't ask Claude to do, but it did, and it looked cool. But if you go to the left, there's a pink power-up. It turns your blue ball purple, and then you can go like twice as far. Then you can jump over the wall. Whee! And then not much happens after that. But it's just like a little prototype of like, get a power-up, use it to get over the hurdle to the next power-up, and so on and so on. But the basic like infrastructure for it works, and I was happy about that. Yeah, he moves really slow.
It's very annoyingly slow.
which is why the wall is not far away. How did I just do that? I don't know what I just did. Well, I was click dragging the ball. It like put spin on it somehow. It launched it to the left, but it kind of curved back. What did I just do? I did not put that in.
It's like you put English
so there's definitely
on
some
it.
weirdness in it.
Oh yeah, because I was going to say because I just think of like billiards and like depending on whether you hit it at the top or the bottom. So if you hit it at the bottom, it's gonna spin back a little bit, but you can only grab it from the middle of the ball. I can't grab it from any other part. So
it does make me want to make that a power up though.
I think you should.
Of like being able to grab at a certain spot and like have it like do things. Then you could jump over a wall and like spring back.
Yes.
So like I think there's legs.
Oh,
to
you
this.
updated it from the last time I pulled because I'm like, there's no pink thing in here. What are you talking about? Oh man. Okay, now I got to see the newest version. Where's this pink thing?
To the
Oh,
left.
there's the pink thing. You added the pink thing. Oh, and now I'm purple. And now I can go like a reasonable amount of force. Okay, this is much cooler than the original one you put up there.
Yeah. The original was just me creating it. Can I move a ball around the screen? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I want to get on the other side of this brown wall.
Yeah.
All right. See, this is exactly why doing this project with you is great because you focused on a completely different part of game development than I spent the last few weeks. Like I didn't do anything.
What have you been working on?
I didn't do. I talked about this in the last update when it was just me. But to expound on it, like I found this guy on GitHub called Ben James. He's basically like a one-person indie developer, and he has a Git repo full of, I would say, almost 24 finished Defold games, because I've just been in the Defold world. And so I downloaded it, I loaded up one of them, and I started studying it because my goal that I was stuck on before we talked last time was I wanted a basic progression of I had the Astronaut simulator, and you shoot the rocks, and if you shoot them enough times and they disappear, they generate a gem, and then you pick up the gem, and if you pick up
Right, you had the gem.
if you pick up enough gems, then it triggers a door opening that then goes to the next level. And his games are, I mean, I only tried a few of them. I tried this one called Crystal Caverns 2, which is sort of like a 2D, kind of has a Spelunky feel to it, but it has like 3 levels, and it has a menu, and it has game over, and it has credits and level clear. And so it has like a global array of states of like what level you're on, how many gems you have, how many lives you are, you know, how much HP you have. And so I was like, ooh, this is something we definitely that I wanted to know how to do, was just how to like load a level, which in Defold is often a collection. So you have like a collection of the level itself, which is like the tile map, what it looks like, what objects are in it, whether you have any factories, like if it's going to create enemies, or the enemies or obstacles, you know, like flames or spears or something like that. And I wanted to know how that worked. And so basically I took apart my Astronaut tutorial and like kind of almost broke it down to brass tacks. And I started from the very beginning. Okay, when the game loads, what does the game do? And then how does it handle going between states? And I'm just right now working on how do I go from loading level 1 and then triggering something that loads level 2. And I spent no time on the Astronaut or the shooting or any interesting mechanics at all. Just organizing my files so that I could figure out how to load level 1 and then level 2. I still don't have level 1 to level 2 because I'm constantly fighting with the Defold, what a collection is, how a collection talks to a game object, like all that, like really boring.
One of the many
minutia.
reasons I stopped messing around in Defold as much, even though I think it's probably the right answer for real development, but like it was just frustrating to play in, you know? I'm at a state right now where I need to play.
Yeah.
So I can be interested in what I'm doing and learn more. That's why I made my little thing. Now I have something that does a thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like. And now I can play with game states.
Yeah. No, and this is a great, once again, I just want to reiterate, this is great that you and I are working on this together, because just intuitively we are interested in different parts of what a game makes. Like you obviously need the mat part right now, which is the mechanic that does something that you actually want to like play with. And then you need me, who thinks about like, okay, but how does this actually become a game that looks like a game you're used to and loads and processes state and all that kind of stuff. So, but I will say is that it's harder for my side to stay inspired on this, because the stuff I'm doing right now is not fun. It's necessary, but it is not super fun, and it's hard to like I worked on it for, I don't know, like an hour and a half last night, just slowly chipping away at like, okay, wait, if I re-architect this, now this needs to talk to this thing in a different way. It's, you know, and it's not quote unquote fun. No. It's just necessary. And it's engaging because I'm learning. But it's not this ball where I'm just like, ooh, this ball, if I click on a thing and it moves and I got to get over this wall, how do I figure that out? So thank you for making this.
Of course.
I needed this.
Well, this is the kind of thing I need in order to get into it. I need a starting point. Once I've got a starting point, then I have my playground and I can play in it. And then, ooh, what if I do this? Or what if I do that? So I had been doing similar to what you'd been doing. Let's learn how to do this. Let's learn how to do that. And I got bored.
Yeah.
Plus, I got wrapped around the axle on sprites for a while because I understand them, but they're not intuitive to work with.
Wrapped around the axle on. I've never heard that, but
really?
I like it.
No, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Story of my life. But like the sprites were bothering me, and I get all this, but theoretically, but who cares? Right?
But who cares? Yeah, that's a good point, because like when I step back and think about, even when I figure out, which I will eventually figure out how to like shoot the rocks, get the gems, open the door, walk on the door, load level 2. Once I get to that point, but then I'm like, wait, but was shooting the rocks and picking up the gems and opening up the door, was that fun? I mean, maybe, but this ball prototype you made is actually fun. Like I'm actually, I have to close it because I'm having a hard time just having conversation, because I'm like, ooh, how do I get over that wall?
Yeah. I want to click on some more.
Yeah, I want to click on it some more.
Yeah.
Well, and if it was on mobile, Like this definitely, I think you were originally targeting this for like touch because I can see you dragging your finger to make it go. Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's a combination of Metroid and Angry Birds.
Right.
Angry Birds navigation, Metroid gameplay is the hope.
So I'm thinking at this point, you have a working mechanic in Love2D. So I would think that the next thing you would want to do is try to throw this into Defold so that we can turn it into something
Potentially
larger.
So
is that your idea?
I'm still a little torn on it. What I actually want to do next is I want to see if the creative process by which I created this game, i.e. using Cloud Code, is applicable, is helpful. How can I do that in Defold? When I tried it before, it didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because Defold is very sprite-based, and this game has 0 sprites right now. It's all line drawings. Looks like something you'd do in Visual Basic. There's a gradient for background, and so you can tell if you go up or down. Lines on the bottom, so you can tell if you're going left or right. Beyond that, not much. When I first created it, it was light gray background and a dark gray ground, and couldn't tell if you were moving, just up and down. It looked like the ball was going up and down. That was it, because that was the most. Because the camera centers on the ball, right? Yeah. Oh, and the physics of it was also a headache to get working. Like, I wanted to have straight up like Earth physics for it, but that wasn't fun. Like
Really?
The way it moved was, I don't know, it didn't look right. Very little hops. I think if I shrunk everything down in size, or if the scale was different, maybe. But I just changed gravity. You know, like you do, just change gravity.
Yeah, just
and
like in
then-
the real world.
Yeah. And like friction until I got it so it moved in a way that felt good.
Yeah.
It's like very little logic involved, but it felt good.
I mean, I think in video games, you can throw a physics engine, like a pre-created library. I'm sure, that exists.
Yeah.
in
No,
many
I'm using Love2D physics. I just didn't like the
Oh.
default, so I kept playing with it until I got something that felt good.
But this is like a Love2D physics library that someone made. Yeah, okay.
I think it's based on Box 2D, which is a
Right.
standard in game development, and I think Defold also has that actually.
Yeah.
That you could use. So yeah,
But you wanna play around with it because the default physics engine doesn't work for every situation like out of the box. You have to do some fine tuning of it.
and there's still some things like if you get stuck up against a wall, you can't jump over it because by the time you get to the top of it, then you run into it and bounce off. And, then you have to move back a little bit, and that's not fun. So like, there's something that still needs to happen there. Probably some amount of collision reduction or something.
Right.
But I was like,
Doesn't have to
okay.
be pixel perfect. Yeah.
But now I have a better feel for the physics and collisions, and I have a better feel for power-ups, I guess. So this is close to what I had originally envisioned, was making just a very boring level that had obstacles that that kept getting in the way, and then because it's a Metroid, I had to go left first.
Nice.
I'll tell you, in the exploration game, if there's an option of left or right, I always go left because of Metroid. I'm like, oh, well, they're going to assume I'm going to go right. So in the original Metroid, you went right and you hit a wall that you couldn't get by because it was too low. You were like, I need to go under this. And I was like, well, what do I do?
That's an interesting point, but I wonder if it was less about in the original, in most of the Metroids, I guess, except maybe the more recent ones, they were all made by a Nintendo, a Japanese company, and, Japanese writing goes from right to left, not left to right. So maybe they assumed players would go to the left because that's
Interesting.
culturally more default than to the right. Whereas in English, we go left to right.
Yeah.
So you just kind of think left to right in general.
Mario goes left to right. And that's like
That's
the
true.
de facto standard.
That's true.
In Link, you got to go up. That's the first place you go. Got to go up. Got to go in the little cave. Got to get your sword
I wonder
from
how
an
many.
old man.
I wonder what percentage. Man, spoiler alert. I wonder how many. I wonder how many people who played Zelda, like what percentage of people, like didn't go into that first cave and just wandered around and died a bunch of times until they realized, wait, maybe I should go in that room and hey, there's a weapon.
Oh, that black square on the screen is a door. Who knew?
Yeah, maybe they just thought it was, something else. But like, yet another interesting observation about a 40-year-old game that you don't start off with a weapon. Like, how many other games don't start you off with like some default way of harming the enemies?
And when they do, it's always like that. It's almost immediately you get something.
Yeah. Right. But this one like forced you to actually take initiative and then you have to murder an old man to get that sword. Because you pick it up, you stab it into him, and he disappears.
Yeah. I never really understood what was going. I like to think it was just he was an illusion. He was the spirit of the cave, and he gave you a sword. And once you held it up, he vanished mysteriously.
Right.
Or you killed him.
Right.
All the old men and women look exactly the same in that game.
Well, there was only so many pixels you could put in a sprite to differentiate entities. So, cut them some slack.
Yeah. Fine.
So where my head is at right now on this game-making project is, yes, I am currently lost in the woods on the infrastructure in Defold, making stuff talk to each other, which I want to finish mainly because I feel like I've gone too far to like give up on this stretch because I'm so close. I keep getting ever so close to just like the basic thing. One thing I just noticed earlier before we started recording is that this Ben James guy who has all these Defold working prototypes or working games, which has been instrumental in me getting my tutorial to work because I'm basically just following his lead. I didn't realize that he has a template, like the super skeleton version without all the assets and game mechanics that just has like a single level that I could have started from. I wish I would have seen that a couple weeks ago. But anyway, I just want to give that shout out to this guy because, speaking about old games, if you were writing, a Nintendo game back in the 80s, there was not a free resource you could go to download a bunch of working Nintendo games that you could, learn from and compare your own code to. You just had to write assembly and hope for the best.
Yep. But you could download other games and read their assembly.
Right, yeah. But this is like, I don't know. I'm just saying that...
download, you know what I mean? You could like take a cartridge and... Yeah.
Right, like dump the ROM or something. Yeah, I'm just saying that like the resources we have now are amazing.
We live in a golden age of game development.
We do, and yet I have still spent weeks trying to get a new level to load in a game, and I feel dumb because like he has like 24 games that are done, and I'm like, I can't do this one thing.
That's the kind of thing I kept running into before that made me think maybe Defold's not the right choice for us. I think the reason is Defold is very opinionated about how you do things. Not like super opinionated like some other game engines, but like aspects of it are very like you must do it this way. And either I haven't grokked the way that is Defold or it just doesn't work with the way my brain is.
Yeah.
And it's quite possible, but it seems like it would be because it's got functionally classes. You isolate your player, you isolate your enemies, the world. I like how you build the world in Defold, like because it's got the little tile editor.
Yes,
but also at the same time, I found the collision stuff. A lot of it was annoying to use, like with the different layers and there again, probably just me not quite grasping how it's intended to work.
Yeah, Love
is much more like do what you want.
Yeah,
which for playing is easier for me, but I still don't know which is going to be the right way for us to go for building an actual game. And at some point, we just need to make a decision about which one we're going to go down. This is the way we're doing it. They're both in Lua, which is it's a thing that they have in common.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they don't really interoperate.
I mean, I think we've said this before. Love 2D is a bit more bottom up
Yep.
way of building a game, and Defold is more top down. And like, I don't know if the flow here is just we're going to eventually meet in the middle, where you keep making your Love 2D project more complicated, and I keep making the Defold more like the shell of it more functional, so that it just needs content.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have like the content, but you don't have the structure of a game yet, and I have the structure of a game, but there's really no content yet. So I don't know.
I would consider this a prototype or a proof of concept and nothing more beyond that.
Yeah.
Like I see at some point us going like, okay, we like this and how it feels and like how the power-ups work. What does the game look like? Like, what does an actual level look like? And I think that's probably when we migrate to Defold. Or right now I can just run a prompt and get a new power-up.
Right.
Thanks, Claude. And that's good, because this way I can create a lot faster and iterate. But eventually we're going to have like we're going to want to put out an actual something that actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, eventually.
And Defold had more options for more platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like out of the box. Plus we're going to want sprites, because they squares or circles are not so interesting.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, how sold are you on keeping the primitives because of the flexibility, or if you're just like, okay, I know I'm playing with this, but really I want to do sprites.
No, sprites is the right way to go. I like the way they look better.
Yeah.
But from a just make something happen, I just don't know Defold well enough to just get in there, get my hands dirty.
Yeah.
Love 2D at this point, I can. When I don't, it's easy enough to ask Claude or look online or whatever. In Defold, I was struggling with that. I'll have to look at that guy you mentioned, Ben James.
Yeah, I'll link you.
Yeah. I think I found it. I mean, I found a developer spotlight in Defold.
Oh,
but yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Send me a link to that.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of things. I mean, I think he's been doing this for decades, so this is kind of like a lot of stuff in the making, but he obviously understands how to do Defold. And so it was sort of like, okay, I want to learn Defold. And, you know, I think we've said this before that, I mean, I think we both learn by doing.
Yep.
And I really like, when I'm trying to learn something I don't know, I really like seeing examples of working things and then sort of like reverse engineering that to work in my own.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I understand, because I'm like, okay, well, how is this supposed to work? Oh, it's supposed to work like that. Like when I boot up one of his games, it does this.
Yeah.
Okay, when I boot up my game, it doesn't do that yet. How do I get that to work over here? And it's just like fundamental stuff. Like even if we go back to like something as simple as Super Mario Brothers, you know, when you load like a collection in Defold, that would be like, you know, Mario 1-1 level 1-1 collection. And what's in that collection? Well, you got all the sprites for the clouds and the ground. You've got like a factory that outputs enemies, like a Goomba factory. You've got a coin factory so that when you hit a certain brick, you know, and it might create a coin, and you've got a counter that keeps track of it. Like that, all that kind of stuff, I guess, I don't know, just is inherently very interesting to me, how that works. And then how do I make that work in my game, and how do I modify it to do what I want it to do? And
so my approach to that kind of thing is usually to do each of those individual things like as a new project. Like, all right, how do I load from one screen to another, right? To very boring levels, there's just like if you step on this square immediately to your right, it loads the next level.
Yeah.
Cool. I can switch back and forth. I have a stairs now in the game.
yeah.
Or like, oh, I want a title screen. Start with the title screen. You click start, and then that's actually how Shut the Box started. I was playing around with. I was trying to figure out how to load like a utility screen settings, and there was a view of that was already doing exactly that built in. And I was like, okay, how's that work? Okay, well, what if I put some buttons over here and some settings over on that side, and just kept building. But I wanted to understand how to have a title screen. How to have an option screen, I mean. Title screen was in version 2, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of his games have like a menu, like a title screen, and then you hit start, or they have an options or whatever. Yeah, I haven't even got that far, but you're right. That is a great way to do it, is to just do a project that does a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the Unix mentality. do one thing well, and then eventually we can pipe them all together in one incredibly long command that outputs game dot whatever.
Right. And then that, so like, as I'm trying to have the code generation for this stuff, I'm looking at, like, that's the kind of thing I want it to do. Now I'm trying to figure out how to make it do that in Defold, but I got to figure out how to. There's an issue with sprites. Like, I think I have to have the sprite map already. Like, I have to have a good one because all the ones I had were very like variable width and height. And go import this into another sprite tool and then export it. I don't want to do that. I do like in Defold though, you can have individual images and it'll package all up instead of using like a sprite sheet. That I like a lot because I find sprite sheets hard to think about, like to some extent. Like I get them, but when I'm trying to use them, I just want sprite that's the 50th one. This doesn't no.
You know, it reminds me of an old web technology, image maps.
Yes, yeah.
It's very, and I've very rarely used them because for the same reason. It's not. I think of individual images. I don't think of a huge image and then like a chunk of that.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the way that sprites work.
Yeah.
Generally, I don't know.
Oddly, like I don't mind it so much for laying out the tiles that are physically static on the screen. That doesn't bother me as much. But when I'm trying to get my player to do things, I don't like it as much there. Like I was playing in Defold, like, oh, idle animation and a walking animation, and they weren't too bad. So I feel like that's what I need to figure out how to do next is I need to get my hands dirty. And then again, still, we know that Love2D can put up professional games. I play one almost every week, almost every day, Balatro.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's fairly static is what it does at any given time. But it has multiple screens. They'll let you do things and, slightly different.
Yeah.
That's just like, okay, to actually make this into a game, Default will probably do this better. Level layouts in particular, unless we're going to procedurally generate them, which do we want to procedurally generate them? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like the programmery part of me, the algorithm, like, hey, that sounds fun. How do we come up with something? But also, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think my brain has grasped that decision yet.
I just don't know how to do it and make it fun.
Yeah.
Like, I like procedurally generated games, but also I wish they would I want to generate it once and then live in that world. Sort of like games like, what's the game that's not satisfactory? It has similar name. Factorio. That game in like SimCity, or you start them, it generates a world, and then you live in that world. I could almost see generating like a world that way. I think that's how a lot of games devs do it. They like put blob over here and blob over there for that thing, and make this work. Yeah. And then it generates something, and then they edit it from there. The default, we curated a level that is the game, but then just like when you beat Zelda and you get the master quest, I feel like that's when it should go into procedurally generated, right? You have the game, you beat it, and now you want to do it again, but now it's more random and like where things are, but it's the same game. I don't know how that plays in if you have NPCs.
Yeah,
Metroids don't need NPCs except for the enemies.
Yeah, although right, they don't need NPCs. I mean, if Metroid didn't have NPCs, well, the later games had more world and I think that would be more fun than you just being a silent protagonist in a silent world beset with obstacles. Like it would be nice to have a place that felt alive and was like existing before you showed up and will exist after you show up. Like I like that idea more than a level, I mean, we can call it internally levels, but
I like that also, but I also having to read when I'm playing my games.
I mean, we could just, text to speech everything.
Oh, I like that even less.
Or symbols, graphics, no words.
I really hate when I have to I don't want to absorb lore Sometimes I do. Most of the time,
Neither did Data.
Just get yeah. Most of the times I just get into the next. Let me play.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about bosses too. Sometimes they're just in the way. Let me just play the game. I just want to explore.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with having no bosses in this game, like no bosses. But I'm torn on the world feel and how
there should be something, and maybe
I
it's,
just don't. Yeah,
maybe it's that it's something like Pikmin, where you can't actually talk to them, you can't understand them, but there's like interactions still.
Yeah.
So there's NPCs and like exclamation point for a quest, or it'll tell you, beep 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 beep. Take the ball to the cottage. Like, great, okay. Break it down into a super simple part that for what you need to absorb in order to play.
Yeah,
and have the actual interaction still be fun. But mostly, what I don't like about reading is just too many. Just tell me what I need to know so I can play the game. That's what I usually want. Nintendo games are pretty good about that. Zelda will have like a wall of text, but highlight certain words in it that you need to actually pay attention to, and that works for me because then I can just like skim it, pull out the important information.
It could also be, this is something that just occurred to me, is that going with the you're in a world that's alive and happening both before you showed up and after you showed up. Usually the story is like, oh, there's a great evil and you are the only hero that can solve it. And so obviously they need to interact with you directly so that you know that. Instead of doing that, like subverting it and more like they could be having conversations with each other, but not with you, and you just happen to like overhear them, much like you're walking around a busy city and you just hear people like, what's the scuttlebutt? You listen. You don't have to talk to them. So if you want to ignore what's going on in the world and just go out and get your butt handed to you by an enemy, or you actually listen and you're like, people are saying, man, I can't leave the city, because there's these monsters that are attacking and I'm too scared. Then by absorbing that seems more interesting than.
I love the passive ones where you just like hear the conversations going on and you can listen in or you can choose to. I just hate when they ramble.
Yeah.
Get to the point.
Well, and they force you to listen through the ramble.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the direct interaction that we should maybe avoid as much as possible.
Also, just like in Metroid style, one of the things I like about them more than Castlevania style is I like that I'm on this alien planet and that like I'm not at home in the game, but I don't mind there being life. I love that there's life. Yeah, Metroid has a whole bunch of things there, and you can read about them in Metroid Prime if you want to, but the life per se isn't there. I still like the idea of villages and going to visit them. I just less chatty ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing like 3 Metroids right now. And they're all like, they just keep talking. Just stop talking to me and let me keep playing.
I mean, there must be some directive from, game studios where that's just an expected thing, or it's a padding thing or something. There's an expectation that will be there, but obviously we're not beholden to a company or whatever. We can do whatever we want. And I love the idea of subverting whatever the standard is, because I also I like both. Yeah. I think I like the lore more than you do, but I'm also enjoy just like a fun game that also has stuff if you want to, but if you don't
that's how I like them.
Yeah.
Like it's there, but the gameplay and and more to the point, I think a lot of times they just need an editor. Like you don't need to say so much. That's coming from me who talks a lot. Like just get to the friggin' point.
Yeah. I feel like that's a writing adage of some sort. Yeah. It's like KISS or something,
And like I have that like need to fully explore all the dialogue trees that exist in a game, and I don't want to, but I'm compelled to. And let's get all the information because I don't want to miss a quest. Like, if it's just extra information, great, but I don't want to make miss game content, gameplay content. I don't mind the dialogue content being optional, but I know some people love games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Witcher, that they love those because they enjoy the world and the talking and the dialogue. It feels real to them. And that's not as much of a thing for what I look for in games. I like pixel graphics just fine.
Yeah.
I don't need things to be real. I therefore don't need the story to be much more than a MacGuffin.
You made me think of three quick gaming experiences I just had recently. One, I started playing Final Fantasy IV on my phone. I know. I played the original when I was a kid. I loved it. I'm playing the 3D update of it. So the original is 2D sprites. And I definitely don't enjoy the 3D as much. I think it doesn't have the same charm as the original. But that also might just because that's what my childhood is telling me. That's what nostalgia is telling me. I don't know. If I'd never played Final Fantasy IV and this is all I knew, would I feel the same way? I don't know. But, anyway, another one is I think we all, as certified nerds, noticed that Microsoft put the Zork source code up on GitHub.
Yeah.
So that inspired me to try Zork 1 again. I think I tried it years ago, but I tried it again. And playing that game, I played it for a while. I made some progress. I looked up a map because I'm like, all right, I'm not going to, there's no theater of the mind. I don't have time for that. But and that is a game that is still totally worth playing and amazing, despite the fact that it is literally only text. But it still holds up 40 years later. It's crazy.
And I think also those style games, those text adventure games, there's a lot of, it's all text, right? Obviously. But there's not a lot of walls of text in general because they couldn't, from a memory perspective, do that. So it's just you walk in the room and the guy says, "Get out of here." Not, he doesn't go, "I don't like you. You've come into my shop and you should leave my shop. Perhaps get out of here." It just says, "Get out of here."
Yeah,
and I would prefer that.
It's
you and I have both written text adventure games. To play around with.
It's a mechanically still interesting game. How they did it, and you're right. They had much tighter memory and processing constraints. I mean, it's hilarious to run Zork 1 on an M4 chip or whatever. But it's still good, and it still has lessons to teach about how to make a game and be precise and still be fun when you only have text.
Exactly.
And then another one that I just played is, do you know the steamed hams meme from The Simpsons? So this is an episode from, no, it was a vignette from a bunch of vignettes in an episode of The Simpsons 30 years ago, where, just for anybody who doesn't know, the teacher Skinner has Principal Skinner has the Superintendent Chalmers over for a lunch, and he's supposed to be making him a roast, but the roast burns, and then he decides to cover up burning the roast by buying Krusty Burgers and disguising them as his own, and hilarity ensues.
Right. Because the smoke, the smoke, I'm making steamed clams. And
clams.
So then he brings out hamburgers, and it's not steamed clams. And it's that's what we call. And then
No, steamed hams.
Oh, yeah. You misheard my steamed clams. It's actually steamed hams. That's what he remembered. And then there's also a line about the Aurora Borealis localized entirely in your kitchen.
Yes, at this time of year, at this time of day, localized entirely in your kitchen. May I see it? No. Yeah, go watch it. It's a great little 2-minute skit. But people have redone this so many ways. Steamed hams, if it was done by the cast from Sopranos, or if it was animated in Simpsons Animation Studio. I just saw that recently. But the most recent one I just saw was they recreated it as a Secret of Monkey Island era LucasArts graphic adventure, and then did a playthrough of it with all of the text on the screen and the little plus cursor, and it was great. But it was one of those things where that is a game. They recreated a 2-minute 30-year-old Simpsons skit that's very simple, not a lot of branching paths. They just used all the same dialogue from the episode, and they just patched it into the game. I think they used Adventure Game Studio, which is a framework engine for making graphic adventures. But I'm that's a game, and it took them 5 minutes to play. And we could make that. We could make a 5-minute game that is over and done with and made a point, and it was funny or not funny, and we're done. Like, what's stopping us from doing that? I don't know. Nothing is stopping it. But I feel
this doesn't make a game. It's make many games.
Right. Maybe we make a bunch of fun little 5-minute games that do a mechanic and are over and have an end credits, and then you go into the next one. I don't know.
I'm fine with that. I think that's a great way to learn how to do things.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what I need to, in order to really get into something, I have to have a reason I'm doing it. If it's just to learn, it's not quite not quite enough. As much as I enjoy learning, it needs to be for a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know how to do this because in this game I'm creating, I need to figure out dialogue trees. Yeah. I do miss old school graphic adventures, though. I still want like an open world graphic adventure.
Ooh.
Not point and click. I still want to type to do things.
Oh.
I like that dynamic of like King's Quest 3 era. Or maybe Monkey Island, where you have like the verbs on the screen. That was fine
and
too.
A cursor.
Yeah. Like that. That's probably better than typing.
Yeah.
Because, it gives you less freedom, but it gives you more focus, which is probably a good thing. Or I don't mind the ones where you click on the thing and there's a menu of options of what you can do. I don't like it when you click and it just does the thing entirely for you. I want to tell it what to do with the thing. Click here and it walks there. Hold there and it pops up a menu and lets you select, but a whole open world of that.
Oh man, there's just too many ideas. I say this on like every single episode of this, but it's just that we like if we were doing this if podcasts had existed in like the early 80s, this would not be the same problem that we're having now, because there literally would be
there's only like 6 things you could do.
Right. Like, you know, if we could get a graphic of some sort to appear on a computer screen in 1980, we would be like, done. And now it's like, wait, all this stuff, all this effort we put in. No. We actually want to do this now. Wait. No. That's no. What about this? Oh, I played this other game and it made me think, no, well, let's do that instead. And okay, so we've had a lot of discussion as usual, which is great because this is a huge topic, multifaceted. There's still so many ways we could go with this, but I think to keep myself on track and to not feel like I spent all this time in Defold for nothing, I'm going to continue with the Astronaut tutorial, because for me, what is done with that is that I can get the go from one level to another and have like an end screen saying, yay, you got to the end and you collected this many gems, and then I'm done. And then I think what I really want to do, because you've inspired me, is to go back to Love2D and just play around with something. Like I need some fun mechanic that I came up with that is fun to play with, because I'm getting uninspired by the cruft of just making a game work in Defold. That's not super inspiring to me. So what about you? What's your next goal at this point?
I want to add more power-ups and things to this prototype, just to kind of prove out some ideas I have for the types of power-ups you could get in this kind of Metroid game, and if they're fun to play with at all. I'm still not sure how something like a double jump will work. Haven't even gotten into projectiles. How do you switch between weapons? Like all that kind of stuff is going to be something I have to explore. So I want to kind of play around with that. And then I think once I get that, it might be worth, well, depending on where you land with your Love2D playing, it might be worth me trying to get something like this working in Defold with sprites. Just go real simple. Like I could do non-moving sprites to start with. Everything is static, which is basically what I have now.
Well, I mean,
with my circle.
in your Astronaut tutorial that you did, which is part of mine because I just kind of forked yours. It has the click on the player and pull and shoot a projectile. You just need to change that so it moves your character instead.
Right. Well, what I was thinking is you get a weapon that lets you like shoot stuff using the same mechanism. And so then you're either it, and so like maybe you right click to do that or whatever, or you have to like click walk or fire. But also maybe you get a power up that lets you become a projectile, right? And you can hit an enemy and it doesn't kill you.
I see.
Once you get a certain power up, and I don't know. Well, so I want to play around with that.
And that seems like if you use that, then your sprite like glows or flashes or something to show that it's energized.
It's got spikes now, so
Yeah.
so it's hurting something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe it's a charge attack, right? You click and hold,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
get you some velocity.
Mega
I don't
Man
know.
style.
I'll play around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds cool. I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to move out of Defold for a little bit and just play around with something fun in Love2D, because it is really fun to just play around in Love2D. I wish I could say the same about Defold, but at this point, like I said, there's too much going on where it's just an effortless play. It is still kind of like bumping my head against things constantly, and I want to get past that, but I'm not there yet. Cool. All right, well, that is our check-in for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you want to listen to our past check-ins, and we have a whole season of 100 episodes that are not about game making, although there is a lot of game talk, you can get that at hackingthegrepson.com. We will continue to try to put out episodes every other week like we've been doing, but you never know. Actually, I may be backtracking that immediately, because in like a week, Advent of Code starts. So
Yeah.
I think...
I figure that's going to be our next thing. That we probably table games for the next month.
Yeah, and we
and do this.
and we talk about algorithms and memory management instead. Yeah,
I'm gonna do everything in Lua and use Love2D to do my visualizations.
Ooh.
That sounds awful.
no, that sounds amazing. Please,
I might do that now that I've said it.
I kind of want to do that too.
Doing everything in Lua sounds painful.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did start one of the older years in Lua. I didn't make it all the way through, but it's doable.
Yeah.
It's doable. I mean, at least the early ones.
If the problems were easier, I would probably be willing to also learn a new language while doing
Yeah.
it. But the problems end up hard enough where I'm like, I just need a language I can dump my brain into.
Yeah. Well, and neither of us know exactly what this year is going to be like, because it is the first year where it's not going to be 25 days of problems. It's only 12. And we don't know how that's going to affect the difficulty or anything. So it's kind of Brave New World.
Did we decide that they're all in the first 12 days, or that it's going through the 24th and it's every other day?
I don't know. I thought it was just the first 12 days. I think that's
what I thought also,
Yeah.
but now I'm not sure.
But we will find out soon. It starts on December 1st, which is in like a week. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we got Thanksgiving week, and then we've got that week.
Advent of Code. Well, I'm looking forward to it, whatever
12
it is.
days of puzzles.
But until we next talk at you, we now return you to your regularly scheduled lives already in progress.